We're all set.
Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for January 26, 2026 will come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Nick Nosovich,
Here.
Jeremy Taylor. Here. John Marshall. Here. Dan Rohaley.
Here.
Dick Solomon.
Present.
Everybody's here.
Just as a
Next
reminder, you need everyone to clip their microphones onto their.
Next on the agenda is approval of minutes. Minutes have been circulated. Are there any additions, corrections? Or entertain a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as published.
A motion by Mr. Taylor for approval,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Marshall. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, if you'll call the roll.
Jeremy Taylor.
Yes.
John Marshall.
Yes.
Dan Rohaley.
Yes.
Dick Solomon.
Yes.
Nick Nosovich.
Yes. With the approval of minutes, next on the agenda is election of Board of Zoning Appeals officers for 2026. First on the docket would be Chairman. Open for any motion.
Chairman, I'll nominate Dan Haley as chairman.
I have a nomination for Davin Haley. Is there any others?
Certainly have the experience. Background.
I'm gonna nominate Nick Nosovich for chairman.
Any others?
Close nomination.
All in favor?
Close the nominations first, if you were Mr. President.
Nominations are closed. We have two candidates, Mr. O'Haley, Mr. Novich.
Dan.
First, we'll have votes for Mr. O'Haley. Anyone for Mr. O'Haley?
Aye. Dick. Mr. Sauerman. Mr. Sauerman, you there?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you now.
There's a vote for nomination for Dan Rohaley right now. The board's taking a vote. Dan has voted for himself. Any other votes for Dan from the board?
And we have another candidate. Is that what I'm hearing?
Nick is the alternate candidate.
I see. Okay. Well, they're both good. I'll vote for Dan.
Dan. Any further votes for Dan? I'm sorry. No further votes. I have called for votes for Nick Nosovich.
Aye.
Aye. 2-2. Nominations will have to go over to the next,
Doesn't
Nick's, I'm sorry, Nick's gonna vote for you. Gonna vote for yourself. Right, so that'd be 3-2. Mr. Nosovich gets the nod for 2026. Congratulations.
With that done, we'll open up nominations for vice chairman.
I'll nominate Dan Rohaley.
No, I refuse the nomination for number 2. I'm not gonna be number 2 anymore.
Okay.
Respectfully.
Oh, no
I
problem.
respectfully.
I'll nominate Mr. Taylor. Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations out. Mr. Taylor, you are vice chairman. Next is recording secretary. Nominations?
I'll nominate our city planner.
Mr. Watson,
Well,
nominated.
I guess Is it, who's been doing it? Have you been?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't, cause he's been.
Yeah, he's been doing this.
Okay. All right.
One nomination, any others? We'll close the nominations out. All in favor, Mr. Watson?
Aye.
Okay, that's taken care of. Going on to old business. Under old business, we have petition 25-45. SLB Brothers Properties LLC, petitioner / Lake County H&F LLC owner. Request is a variance from the development standards. Purpose is allow encroachment on the side yard setback. Location is 9611 North Washington Street. Sir, if you'll give name and address for the record,
Yes,
proceed.
Russ Posen with DVG Team Inc., 1155 Troutline Road, Crown Point, Indiana.
Matt Rossman with ICS Rossman Partners, 11035 Sweetie, Crown Point, Indiana.
Thank you for allowing us to speak again tonight. Obviously, we were here last month requesting the side yard variance. And obviously, since that time, we kind of had to kind of reflect about obviously our message. In previous, I guess, developments, we have, other developments that we've requested the variance first and then come to the plat next. That is, we did it in Beacon Hill South, we did it in some other developments, and we kind of feel like that is the proper protocol. And then as we were kind of digesting that, we really, I think discovered really why that's important and why that actually is the hardship that is created. We do not feel that we actually are creating this hardship by requesting the variance now instead of waiting to the plat. The reason for the hardship when you do something like this actually has everything to do with the city's policy, AKA their ordinance. If you look at it this way, the comprehensive plan of the city really hits home that developments encourage shared access drives, minimal curb cuts, improve traffic flow, which is what this site plan is depicting. It will come with 2 lots, 1 main access point, and actually we're looking at the other drive onto the Washington, which is on the west there. That actually, for what we're proposing, helps on circulation. A main access off of 96 with, for bigger vehicles, AKA, the gas station, semi with the tanker. The configuration actually allows for exiting onto Washington and then coming in to 96 to go east. It's an improved flow. So the conflict that we're talking about, or the hardship, is going then, in addition to that, about the shared access, is we go to the development standards. The development standards, there's no mechanism for shared access in the ordinance to achieve that shared parking or shared access, because that's pavement in the setback, without going to the BZA first. So we feel that you go to the BZA first, make sure you can do the shared access, make sure you can do that before you go to Plan Commission, because we cannot put the Plan Commission, into a bind here, or really what we're trying to do is prevent any planning conflict, because if I plat this development before a variance, I'm adding ingress egress easements that cross the property line, and let's assume that that is a successful plat. I get that all the way recorded. Now I have a 2-lot subdivision with recorded ingress egress easements that allow for access, paved access to cross property lines, and I haven't got the BZA variance yet. And obviously, if you really think about it too, another step, the BZA is first, Plan Commission is next. So there's a conflict of getting a Plan Commission approval on some lots and some ingress egress easements, that is after the BZA variance. So we think the order that we're requesting it is the proper order. And that's why, we are intended to do the platting next and the ingress egress easements next, but seek, compliance with the comprehensive plan first by obviously becoming before your board and making requests for shared access easements and shared access drives, which means pavement in the side yard, which is obviously goes back to the beginning of this variance request, is zero side yard setbacks only within the interior of a proposed lot for the means to have ingress egress easements. Things that we've done, obviously, since then, obviously, because last month there was some remonstrators, the Macedonia Church. Since that time, I think my client and others have actually had conversations with the Macedonia Church to, I think, hear their concerns and obviously make sure that those concerns would be met. And I think it's fair to say that my client and others, if it does aid into the board's, approval process, voluntary, we're going to offer, the use restrictions for the second lot that can be developed and, coordinated with the Macedonian Church, coordinated with the city legal counsel, and then recorded, as covenants to the property that'll run with the land. So that obviously the city has a little more control along with, a voice from the Macedonian Church for that second lot. You want anything to add, please?
Well, to add from the meeting with the church, I believe they are in favor of the development. After the meeting, the concern was where the entrance was, and after laying it out, I do believe they prefer and like the entrance there. Also, I believe they prefer the one entrance and not multiple entrances. One of the things they pointed out, there was a concern if the entrance was further to the west, that the people pulling out of what would be lot 2 would be pulling out and accelerating, and there could be a conflict with the people pulling out of the church. So having the 2 entrances generally aligned allowed the people to kind of designate who was on deck in order for that next turn to happen. Having the traffic flow, one of the changes that's been made since your last, the plan that was in front of you, is the dumpster corrals are tucked into the building, which allows the fuel trucks and the delivery trucks to pull out and not take the exit back onto Broadway. So they can go out and they can go down Washington Street to go down to the signaled interchange or take a right out onto 93rd up there. So they're the only uses that we kind of discuss, and I think the primary concerns, I don't think they're relative uses to us, and so we don't have an issue with them. It's generally around automotive. It seemed to be the large concern. We have no intentions for having on lot 2 an automotive use. So we don't have any issues with restrictions for that when that gets the appropriate time in the approval process. There were some other restrictions that we're going to try and better define and work out with them before we get to that next step. But I think it's safe to say generally they're okay with the plan as it presents from our meeting that we had with them Saturday.
Again, we're just, the hardship is just the policy ordinance. There's no real mechanism to adhere to a comprehensive plan without getting a variance first. So obviously we're open up to questions and comments at this point.
Mr. Watson, anything to add?
Yes, sir. Petitioner is requesting a variance from development standards to allow a reduction in side yard setback. Current side yard setbacks in a B3 business zone is 10 feet. The request to allow a 0-foot setback for a shared drive aisle between 2 future lots. Petition was heard at the December 2025 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting where it was deferred. The board requested that a primary plat with finalized lot lines be approved through the Plan Commission first. As of today, the primary plat application has not been submitted.
Mr. Sauerman, any questions to the petitioner?
I'm still troubled with this. I understand, I guess, your argument, but Mr. Watson just read the reason why we deferred this last month, and that is we basically had nothing about lot 2. We didn't have anything concrete about where the ingress, egress, entrance and exit were going to be jointly here. It was a moving target. And all we wanted was a plat drawn up that was submitted then to the Plan Commission for them to review. So we'd have a meeting of the minds, basically. And I still think that's what we should do. We still don't have anything concrete here. And you haven't committed to anything. We'd be approving something tonight that, in my understanding, could change, and I'm not willing to do that.
I think the words concrete that you're presenting, kind of, that's where it kind of throws us through a loop when it comes to actual platting. I mean, we have been, obviously, the next step would be to submit a plat that goes with this, that provides the ingress egress easements in alignment with the shared access drives, and then the driveway coming from the east lot, which is lot 1, through the north and then go to the west. That can be presented, but the word concrete, again, goes back to the hardship of how can I have a concrete easement and get that all the way through the recordation process without getting the variance first. I mean, I understand that obviously it'd be good to have a plat to present, but that is why obviously we're showing the location of the drives and location all here, so that we have something to work off of for the plat.
Well, I don't know what everybody else on the dais thinks. But I mean, drawing up a preliminary plat, is that what you're saying this is? I mean, what's the difference between what you have drawn here, which is kind of an idea in my mind as to what this may look like, versus a preliminary plat that's submitted to the Plan Commission, and upon approval comes to us, and then you take it in for recording?
Well, I have to, if I'm going to record a plat with easements, ingress egress easements that show the connectivity or the allowance for connectivity between lot 1 and 2, I sure need to get that variances first, is really what our argument is presenting.
And I don't think the plan that we have drawn, it's not a speculative plan. I mean, and DVG could comment, Russ could comment on this, but I mean, it represents everything we need to accomplish what we're looking to do. There's no, the only speculation we currently have is if we were able to obtain these variances. Obviously, then we would need to come back for other approvals that would be subject to the city's approval. But I think the largest ambiguity in this situation is these variances. And I don't think that there's anything in our drawing that we would be looking at changing if we were able to get a positive, favorable vote tonight. We wouldn't be changing anything once we move forward with that plat, but we would able then to draw the plat correctly based on those variances. Otherwise, we're drawing a plat incorrectly in the anticipation of getting those variances. So it's a little bit, I think chicken or the egg type of scenario.
Well, you're asking us, in my mind, and I can't speak for the rest of the people in the dais, but you're asking us to approve something where we don't, again, I know, Russ, you don't like the word concrete, but we don't have any actual lines listed here of demarcation between these two lots. And
It's that line
again,
right in the middle.
going back to our last meeting, that was the issue, and that's why we pulled the initial vote to approve it, because of that discomfort that we had, and I'm still sticking with that personally.
And respectfully, there is a line right in the middle that's shown on this plan that is demarcating the lot 1 and lot 2.
Unfortunately, I wasn't at the last meeting, and I think there might have been some ambiguity from Russ's side, not knowing if that line was concrete. I don't know. I don't believe there was a recording available from that meeting either, but so I'm not sure, not being here or seeing the recording, what exactly was implied, but the line that is shown on this drawing is the line that we're asking for. It's not an approximation or a roundabout. I'll also note, with that change that we've shown, we're no longer planning on taking the fuel trucks around the building and then what would be the the west side of the building, dumping them back out onto 96. They're going to go straight back to Washington. So we were able to tighten that drive aisle a little bit. So it went from, I believe, a 10-foot conversation to 6 feet or 4 feet.
Well, see, it's a 24-foot drive aisle now, and it was a 30 if you wanted to come down.
So we reduced it by 4 feet. So now it's a 6-foot conversation. So, but if it helps you at all, I do believe that if there was ambiguity on where that line is between the two lots, it is well defined in the plan that's in front of you tonight.
All right, well, thank you for the explanation. I reserve the right to ask more questions, but we'll go on to the next.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Rohaven.
Where does this line up? I think one of the other things that we didn't know was where does this drive line up with respect to the church on the south? That would have been helpful.
So we don't have an aerial for it, but this this driveway right here that we show, this lines up with the Macedonians' far east driveway. They have actually 3 driveways. One on the far west, which is both in and out. One in the middle, that's an in, and then one on the far east, which is an out. This one lines up with their out.
So it does line up.
It does line up with that far, with one of them.
And I would add the image that we showed them, although it was an interior self-drawn site plan from ICS, which didn't exactly line up with this. It did show in the meeting that we had with the church, it did show the 2 drive aisles. We were lining up with the east lot.
The far
drive.
east, yes.
I did tell them, I don't know where DVG's is lining up, but I believe it's approximately the same location.
Yep, it is actually on the kind of, if you zoom into the driveway, there's a utility box here that is, if you look on an area, you can kind of see that they line up. So this is in a, we'll say a nice alignment, generally speaking, with the Macedonians' far east line. I did look at that.
The other thing that I know that was the practical problem was we weren't really sure where these that lot line, common lot line was gonna line up. We asked you, is this etched in stone? And he said, no.
Now this lot line is etched in stone after conversing with our client.
We would like it to be.
We would like it to be right here.
But if it changes, it's gotta come back again.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
move it.
Yep.
What are we supposed to use for denoting where this is on this drawing? Should we use that, or what are we, how are we granting something specifically using this drawing? Or that's why we wanted you to have 2 solid lots in place where we could say, yes, the east and west lines of that.
I would imagine we're able to use the dimensions on this drawing relative to the lot lines that are set in stone, which would establish a very firm, matter of fact, line.
Yeah, we're submitting this drawing as is, which is a scale drawing that can obviously can dictate the length or the location off of the Broadway right away to the west of where that line is drawn.
I think cart before the horse, we need the 2 lots, then we can figure out what's what with regard to the variance. I don't know how else to convey that to you folks.
Are you stating that, well, and that's where we kind of go to the hardship of, you know, I almost can't go through recordation of a plat of a lot without confirming from the BZA that I can get that variance for the ingress egress easement that goes east, that goes and crosses these lots.
But you could have done a proposed plat of what this would look like. We could have probably worked up to that. But this site plan. But that's what this is. It's entitled site plan. I don't know, I still think it's a self-created problem. I still think a lot should be in place.
Mr. Marshall.
Are you, Mr. Noltrovich, are you able to confirm what they indicated the church is feeling?
I just know that they had a meeting with the church. I wasn't a part of it. Don't know the discussions outside of what the gentleman just said, that they shared the information, and it seems like nobody called me from the church or anywhere else to say anything one way or the other. So I just know that the meeting was conducted and you all had an opportunity to address questions and concerns.
John, I would just add that that was my interpretation from the meeting. And I wish they were here tonight because I do
Well,
believe
no,
that
I'm
they were
just.
positive
I
for the development.
I believe you. I'm just, we have a member, a high-ranking member of the church, Mr. Olsovich, and he would know. That's why I'm asking. Just confirming the conversation, that's all. I'm missing the problem with this petition. I don't know how more dedicated that line can be on that map. I mean, that's gonna be the site plan that you bring in. I'm pretty sure that's what it's gonna look like.
Yeah.
I don't understand, I don't understand the problem with getting a variance and then doing a site plan, or doing a site plan and getting a variance. So I mean, if we gave a site plan, a planning commission gave a site plan, this would be contingent on the BZA approving the variance.
Exactly. That's why we're presenting this as the hardship. It is the policy of the city does not give the mechanism and the development standards to go after that shared access without going through BZA first.
I don't know, it seems very defined to me. I mean, we give shared access easements all the time.
Correct.
I mean, with adjoining properties, we did it at Crown East, we've done it a lot. I mean, it's just,
Again, those are platted lots.
these are gonna be platted lots.
Well, we don't know. These aren't platted yet.
Well, I don't see, these two guys as, I mean, they've been before these boards a lot. I don't see them as, I've never taken them as, being untruthful, so. I've never had that opinion on them. So I believe those are probably gonna be the lots, and that he's got the line there, and he's just trying to. Basically, he's trying not to do all the engineering and stuff to do a site plan and then come in and maybe get denied on a cross easement. Is that what it amounts to?
It's a fair statement as well, in addition to other ones, yes.
I mean, this is kind of like a workshop. I mean, it's BZA, but it's almost a workshop thing at the plan commission. This is what we want to do. We need this variance. Pretty much. I mean,
So it's what we've done in
if
the
this
past.
variance goes away, if plan commission don't approve the site plan, it's a moot point anyway.
This is correct.
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Mr. President, could I add my 2 cents worth? I believe the major problem we dealt with the last time is the lot line was not a fixed position at the last meeting. This is fixed. I would recommend that if the board considers approval of it, that we tie it to this drawing and only this drawing. And that also a condition is that any approval of that access has to be directly across from the east entrance of the church and tie it to the plan. And if it varies, this plan varies, then the variance would be it would not be valid. So I just throw that out. If the board considers approval, I think you need to tie it to this plan, which now denotes an actual lot line between the two lots. That's all I got to say.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because my question was gonna be, if we approve this and something changes, then what happens at that point? But if we approve this based on what's presented and it stays like that, we're good. And if it doesn't, we're back to square one.
Correct.
Mr. Taylor, questions?
I guess my first question is, who's the police of if something changes?
Sure.
You're the guy.
Again, these are dimension drawings. It's very easy to measure and double check.
So, I mean, I feel like these are two lots that, you guys want only if you can get this variance. I mean, if you can't get this variance, do you want the two lots still?
Not sure.
So, they're not independent, that's where I feel like we're creating our own issue.
I just
But-
answer your question, I think, is I don't think the church wants two entrances.
So I don't think that I don't know this, but I don't think the city wants to. So I'm in agreement that we should have shared access. access, I get that. I think that, like he said, we had a big problem with this lot line was moving last. We couldn't pin Russ down on where this lot was gonna be, this lot line was gonna be. We had no idea where this entrance was in relation to that across the street, the neighbor's entrance. And we had no kind of, I guess I can do the math here, but there's, it's not real, I have to do a lot of math to figure out where that lot line actually is off of the roads here. So why, so before we were also talking about, is this a variance for lot 1? Is this a variance for lot 2? Is this a variance for both lots? And I don't know that we've, because there's only one entrance on one lot. So is this gonna be, that's kind of where we were getting tied up also is, doesn't seem like we're gonna need a variance for 0 setback except for that parking lot. That makes
The
sense?
drive access is going east-west to connect connect these two lots.
I believe the variance would be one for both lots, which would be the common access. But then there would be a variance for lot 1 and 2 for the no setbacks and the parking that adjoins each other. And I would add that when we re-looked at this based off of your guys' comments in the churches, taking those dumpster corrals so we could avoid the semi-traffic from the deliveries and the fuel services from going back onto 96. We took those dumpster corrals and we added them adjoining to the building, which then also kind of facilitates the need to not have an island there. So the dumpster the service people can properly access those dumpster corrals.
So I believe Russ also said in the last meeting that there was no plan to develop initially that second lot, so that west lot.
Lot
How
2.
will there be that access if that doesn't get developed?
Well, we would develop the road access. There is a conversation internally whether we do the entire site and just leave the center building pad undeveloped, or if we simply, we'll just walk up to it so it's easier this way. If we just developed from here in and then down this side of the parking and then an angle here. So this may stay undeveloped, but this roadway would be developed as phase 1. We don't have a tenant for the office building. So we don't have a use for it. We don't have a tenant for it. We are open to if the city had a preference one way or the other. I don't know if we do. I would say I'd leave the front parking, the side parking undeveloped, just so you didn't have that property, wearing down over time until you did have a tenant, and then you had to resurface the parking lot when you did have a tenant. But we would put the roadway in day 1.
So phase 1 includes that is the benefit to where large vehicles come in off of 96 and they exit onto Washington, and then some will just go back north to the signal. Some could go south, but we are not having anybody go as a large vehicle, the semi with the tanker, the gas tanker, going directly south towards the Macedonian churches.
Individual delivery people can do, whatever they want, but they will be directed by the operator to actually go north out of the back road entrance. We don't want them into queuing up on 96 if we can help it. And that's part of the conversation we have with the church.
Better operations. Again, that's the part of the comprehensive plan is the operations and flow.
Then my last kind of question, so if we were to do it like the board wanted to, and you guys put this primary plat in front of the plan commission, get the approvals that you need to do, and then you not record it until you get an approval or not approval, is that not okay?
That just,
You don't have to record it, right? And like, people come to us, they get approvals, and then they never do anything with it.
you know, obviously it's the mechanism of doing that full plat process and going through that without knowing if the BZA is gonna allow that shared access.
Yes, sir.
You know, these buildings are 147.7, this one's 100. Can't you just pull those in to make the parking work? Because buildings are too big, especially the 147.7.
That building is what that development needs, lot one for that gas station convenience store to work,
Okay,
not on that one. But then that's where the lot line is set. I mean, on the west lot two, the future lot two, that building actually did get smaller from our last month's conversation. To lock in the lot line.
might just be too much building on the lot to try to sneak in here. So put 10 pounds of peanuts in a 5-pound bag, it's just not working.
It's one lot.
Well, line would work, yeah. For one building. Oh, yeah.
This is a public meeting. If there's anyone here that would like to speak to this petition, get an opportunity to come forward. Or anyone online. Second opportunity for anyone. Third and final. Hearing, seeing none, we'll close the public portion, bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion to approve 2545. Yes, presented.
Is that
Is it gonna be tied to this?
Yeah,
to this
tied
drawing
to that site planning drawing right there. You label it.
with the exit directly across from the east
Yeah,
exit
exactly,
of the church?
exactly as presented.
the motion for approval of the petition based on this drawing and the entrance to line up with the east side as specified? Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Marshall, seconded by Mr. Taylor. Any further discussion? Mr. Secretary for call roll.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
John Marshall,
Yes.
Dan Rohede,
No,
Dick Sauerman,
No.
Nick Nosovich.
Yes. Based on this drawing and with the alignment, as you've mentioned, we have an approval. If that were to change, then
Of course.
back to square one.
not even a tenth.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next on the agenda is new business. First is,
Can I have just one point? Russ, before we leave, can we, like, in future petitions, can we just make sure we have some more detail? Of course. The first one, because that's what created, I think, a lot of the.
Yeah, I'll take this back to the internal crew here and express that.
petition 26-01, Jason Brennan petitioner / David Drone owner. Request is a variance from development standards. Purpose is to allow an attention getting device in a B3 business zone. Location is 1510 North Main Street. Sir, if you'll state your name and address for the record, and feel free to tell us what you'd like to do.
Sure, Jason Brennan, 1510 North Main Street, Unit B. So what we'd like to do there, we have so I got a letter in the mail that about our truck that's parked on the street. You guys might have seen it. It's a big orange truck. People call it a monster truck. So I understand how that could be an attention-getting device. It was there when I bought the business from the previous owner, and he's had it there since 2009. We took it down for a little bit to repaint it with our own logo on it and put it back up. So anyway, since we moved in there, we do have regular signage on the building and on the street, which is permitted and everything, that we also added to the building. We've also tried to attract customers' attention by repainting the exterior of the building and remodeling the waiting room, making the place look a little nicer. We want to make the town look nice. We don't want quote unquote junky looking things sitting out on the road, which I'm aware that my industry is commonly known for, but that's not what our intention is. We want to be part of Crown Point and add to the charm of the town, make it look nice, make it look professional. That's why we invested that much. That's why I invested that much in the shop after I bought it, because it really needed some aesthetic upgrades to attract the kind of customers that we're looking for. And what we're asking for is a variance to be able to leave the truck there based on the fact that, well, for a couple of reasons. One, it's hard for customers to see us. It's pretty far, our building is pretty far set back from the road, as you guys know. Originally that was one business, both buildings where the furniture store is. That's my landlord, Dave Groen. And then our building, which is quite a bit further set back off the road, it's hard for people to see us. So one reason that it's nice to have that there is that we can use it as a landmark, and when people call and ask where we are and we try to describe it and we ask them, well, do you know where the monster truck is? Everybody always says yes. So we feel that it helps from a business perspective that way. And it kind of hinders us if we had to take it down, because we can't say that anymore. People might not only not know about us, but they would have to slow down more on the street to look for us. So it actually potentially might be safer to have it there than to not have it there, because of the fact that people can easily find us and turn in instead of having to slow down and look, because they could see our sign, the permitted sign, but they're not sure exactly where to pull in still. So they'd be slowing down to look for it. So I think that that kind of sums up what we're asking for and the reasons. You guys have any questions?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Mr. Watson.
Petitioner is requesting a variance from development standards to allow an attention-getting device in a B3 business zone. If approved, the petitioner would keep a monster truck along North Main Street as a way of getting attention for potential clients. While the monster truck was on the property previously, it had been removed to be wrapped and used as signage. Monument signage and non-building signage is the only type of signage allowed within city limits. All other types of signage and attention-getting devices are strictly prohibited by city ordinance. This includes, but is not limited to, banners, pennants, feather flags, and so forth. All notices have been sent out by certified mail, and notice has been published in the newspaper. There have been no calls of remonstration or support received by the planning department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, questions to the petitioner?
I don't have any question. What's is is it drivable truck? Does it have a motor in it?
It is, yeah. We could drive it if we wanted to.
Have a license plate on it?
I don't think so. We were planning on putting it in the parade, which in that case, I'd have to get a plate to do that, but I don't think it currently has a plate. If it does, it's expired.
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Marshall?
Well, unfortunately, I happen to be an expert on this, because there's nobody in the city of Crown Point that's been busted more than me for this. Joe Iraq can probably tell you that. Before we were friends, he sent me the same letters. So, I got busted for the exact same thing. But it took a lot longer than since 2009. I think Sherry Laney got me in like 7 days. Be honest with you, if you put a plate on a truck and park it by the road, or city of Crown Point, I mean, it's just a plated vehicle that's wrapped. it won't be on top of a car, but it'll be by the road. And if you took a box truck and put your name on the side of it, you can park that out there too, as long as you got a plate on it. You don't need a variance to put it out there,
Okay.
to be perfectly honest with you.
We kind of like it the way it is on top of the car, but if that's not allowed, it's not allowed. I'd like to
Well, the
request that
problem
we're
is
able
that
to.
we don't allow them in Crown Point. I think Josh has done a good job with, grand opening signs and whatnot and banners. Whatnot, but for the most part, Crown Point, well, not for the most part, Crown Point just don't allow it. And, this would just create a headache at this board by allowing this to happen because everybody wants something out there, so.
And just real quick, Mr. Marshall, to add to your comment, just wrapped vehicles, even with the license plate, vehicle signs are also labeled as prohibited signs in the city.
Yeah, but if you're driving it, you drive your truck to work and park it by the road.
Yeah, as long as it's being driven, it couldn't just live in a spot. Yes.
Just back it up, pull it back in there. I mean, that's the only comment I have. I've been through the same thing, so.
Mr. O'Haley?
Yeah, I think we've written the code that way. So to get into this quagmire, I mean, that's a novel idea. It's a great idea for attention getting. Say yes to you, then we get some guy come in and he's gonna put 20 cars on top of another car. Then we got another guy that's got some other novel idea, and all of a sudden, all the town is like, all these novel ideas that looks like heck. So I'm not really, I just don't want to set the precedent for everyone.
I do see your point there. Setting a precedent of cars parked on top of other cars right by the road is probably not a good idea.
Well, that was just an isolated example, but
you know,
Kelly knows what they would come in with, you know,
Sure.
volcano or something that's,
I would propose that this is a unique situation based on the fact that the property was originally designed to be one retail location. And then and Crown Point at one time allowed it to be two separate businesses in that location. And that, I was under the impression that we were allowed to have that vehicle there as signage because it had been there so long. And quite frankly, I'm not sure that I would have purchased the business at all without, knowing that I might have to move it. But those are just,
yeah.
it's kind of a little bit of a hardship that we're in.
It's the interest of the city.
Okay.
I
All right,
do
thanks.
believe that also if this board were to grant the variance, it would only apply to your business, not if you sold it to somebody else. Is that correct, Josh?
You guys would have to put the stipulation for this petitioner, for this business, only there would have to be conditions put in place.
Have to
Because
be some
otherwise it just
uniqueness
follows.
now, wouldn't there? He knows how to drive monster trucks on top of cars without causing damage to people in the street, I guess.
Well, he is at a disadvantage with the way that property is designed, his business being that far off the road, so it is hard to notice back there. I mean, he does have a disadvantage, and I will agree with his opinion there, but this is just one of those things where this precedent would just be a giant headache for this board. That's just my opinion.
Mr. Sowerman, questions to the petitioner?
Well, I'm listening to the conversation here, and this is kind of a unique situation, obviously. I guess I'm gonna go back to what Mr. Marshall just brought up in terms of licensing the truck, excuse me, and being able therefore to make it mobile, moving it back and forth and not being a permanent fixture out there like a sign. I don't like the precedent that we would set, as was mentioned by a couple of different gentlemen, if we were to approve the variance, but I think the owner of the business can get what he's looking for just by making a slight adjustment here and being willing to move it periodically so that it doesn't appear to be a monument. Those are my thoughts.
And you may have answered your own question in that when you said people call up, they refer to the monster truck. Not the truck that's on top of a car or driving on top of a car, but the monster truck. So there's a way to utilize that monster truck that should still be an advantage to your communication with your customers, I would think. So, my 2 cents. This is a public meeting. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to this petition? An opportunity to come forth? Anyone online?
No, sir.
Second opportunity? Third and final? Hearing none, we will close the public portion.
I have a question for Josh. Did he apply to put a sign out there? Like
So you can only have one monument sign per lot, per facing of that lot. Right now, there is a Groves Furniture sign out there. He would have to work out something, which is actually something we had been speaking to the petitioner previously. We had thrown out as an option is they can put a joint sign out there with his business and the neighboring business on one nice, large monument sign. That would be well within ordinance.
I know there was a big fight about Grove's sign. I know that they took it down when Bob Anderson moved out. It was a big deal to get the pole back in there because it was down for more than 30 days. They eventually did do it, but it was, you know, it was a fight at the time. That's been a long time ago. Well before you, John. Well, I would try those 2 things. I mean, I'd license your truck and I would see if you can get your landlord to do some kind of a combination sign.
Okay,
I mean, I'm just telling you, you know, I know the hole you're in, I know the problem you're having, so.
mhm.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, it is back to the board, and we have to decide on this petition. The suggestions are worthy, but is there a motion on this petition? I'll motion that we can approve this based on the precedence of what would happen moving down the road. I understand it was there and it's not something that you did, but if we do move forward with this, then precedence is set for, as the colleague said, for all kinds of other applications to come in. It would be hard for us to fight against when you let so-and-so or so-and-so. And that's one of the things that we have to look at. We understand your situation, and I think we're trying to be accommodating with some suggestions and opinions to achieve what you're trying to do with that as ideas that should or could work. But my motion would be for denial of this petition.
I'll second that.
Based on which criteria?
I don't really think we really hit any of the criteria with the hardship.
Would it be the criteria that it would be distracting from the aesthetic view of the entrance? I think Dan brought that up. Entrance to the city.
That's fine.
Well, it doesn't create any practical difficulty in the use of the property, and still have its car shop there.
Agree with that. Incorporate that into your findings.
Yes, yes. Are you go with the second of those?
Yes.
Any further discussions? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, you'll call the roll.
Jeremy Taylor.
Yes.
John Marshall.
Unfortunately, yes.
Dan Rohaley.
Yes.
Dick Sauerman.
Yes.
Nick Nosovich.
Yes. Look into some of those other suggestions. Hopefully you can come up with something on that. I think that's the best we can do right now.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for your time.
Next on the agenda is petition 26-02, Crown Point Investment LLC petitioner / owner. Request is a variance from development standards. Purpose is to allow primary structure to exceed 35 feet in height. Location is 125 South Superior Drive. Sir, please state your name and address for the record and tell us what you'd like to do.
Yep. Good evening. My name is Amit Shah, representing Crown Point Investment located at 125 South Superior Drive. Here tonight to look for a variance. We are looking to develop a hotel on the lot, and currently the height, maximum height is 35 feet. We're looking for a variance to increase that to 59 feet. The primary reason for the variance, the brand that I have, well, any new brand for a hotel development, the minimum requirement is 4 stories. So currently with the 35 feet maximum, I wouldn't be able to develop a hotel. So looking to get that increase to 59 feet.
Is that it for now?
Yeah.
5 stories.
5 stories, correct.
Mr. Watson,
Petitioner is requesting a variance from development standards to allow a primary structure to exceed 35 feet in height as dictated by ordinance. Property is located at 125 South Superior Drive, just to the west of Broadway. Property is surrounded by B3 business to the north and east, industrial to the south, and residential to the west. Approved, the petitioner is looking to construct a 59-foot tall Holiday Inn Express hotel on the site. This would exceed the allowable height of a B3 by 24 feet. All notices have been properly sent out by certified mail, and the notice has been published in the newspaper. Project has been heard as a workshop twice in the planning commission. There have been no calls of support, but there have been calls for demonstration by neighbors that do not want a business adjacent to them to be able to open their properties if they feel it is an invasion of privacy.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sauerman, I'll start with you. Any questions to the petitioner?
Well, you mentioned that the Holiday Inn Express brand has a 4-story, I guess, rule that you have to have at least that, but this is 5. So can you go through the thought process here? Why not look at a more standard and therefore lower hotel?
Yep. I mean, the reason we were looking at 5-story is we're a little bit further off the highway. So just to be more competitive with the other 2 hotels in the market, we were looking to get a little bit more visibility coming off the highway.
So does that mean that if this lot were next to 65, which would have better visibility, that you'd be doing a 4-story hotel versus a 5?
Depending on the lot, we would look at a 4-story instead of a 5-story. But the lot that we have right now, we're trying to eventually do 2 hotels, and we were just limited on space, so we did 5.
Okay. That's all the questions I have for the time being.
Workshops on this. Is this 2 buildings you're gonna do on this?
I think initially we did submit 2 hotels and a retail building,
Yeah.
but yeah, currently we're just doing 1 hotel.
Just 1 for now.
Correct.
But you may do another.
Down
Or
the
you,
road.
or you just 1 and done, that's it, or you're gonna leave room for it?
No, we're gonna leave room for a second
That's
one.
not, so
Yeah.
maybe.
Correct.
Oh, is this, it's all brick?
Current, I mean, I think what we submitted is a majority of it is brick. There are other building materials currently on the way we have it drawn.
You're right behind Speedway, which has 2 double sets of brick. Double brick. Yeah, you'd have to go, when you go get to plan commission, you're gonna have to make sure that, well, those folks are satisfied with the architectural style.
Correct.
Architectural standard, whatever it's ours, day to day. That's all.
Mr. Marshall?
Well, I just want to thank you for bringing this in because Mr. Haley has another notch in his belt that I was wrong, which I'm glad you're able to provide him that.
Speaker's got two sets of grades.
Oh. The hotel thing, you know, that you bring in another hotel across.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I already collected all my bets.
All right, well. Anyways, I don't know. I don't think it matters if it's 4 or 5. I know the neighbors, you're not gonna be right against the neighbors, are you?
No, we have it's a good size. I don't know if you have the drawing here, but
That's over 150 feet.
yeah, there's a good amount of distance between us. And we landscape the entire creek portion of it.
Tree line there too.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a tree line there too, right?
Yeah.
Now, does hotel have to put up, since it's commercial, it's gotta put up fencing, correct?
Yes.
6 feet.
Well, I don't know. I don't see a problem with it, to be honest with you, so, that's all.
What kind of other hotels? Like Hampton? Did we give I think we gave Tom Place a height variance, didn't we?
Totally, so
That's
like
pretty
just don't
tall.
go off.
That's-
Probably 49 to 50 feet. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what they are.
Mr. Taylor?
How are they, I haven't seen any like, site plans, or how are they positioned, like, is it so that like the whole line of, like, one whole side of the building will be facing the residential, or is it just like? on the,
Yeah, the hotel right now is facing north, so you'd have about like 40, 50 feet on the residential side. But the majority of the hotel is facing north. I mean, it's facing north. I don't know how to, what the dimensions are that's facing east, but majority of it is facing north.
I guess my question is like, is this portion of it facing?
Yes,
That would be
Residential,
facing
that is correct,
the
yes.
east part, yeah.
This portion will be facing.
It's just all.
I think that's a good thing.
I think that's true. That's the thing.
It'll
That's
just
all
be
I
a
have.
corridor, yeah, a corridor window facing
Right.
the residential.
This is a public meeting. If there's anyone who'd like to speak for the petition, the opportunity to come forward or online.
There's nothing online.
Second opportunity. Third and final. Hearing none, seeing none, we'll close the public portion. I'll bring it back to the board.
Thank you for doing the findings of fact. I'll move to adopt the findings of fact and approve petition 2602.
I'll second it.
We have a motion for approval with the findings of fact by Mr. Riley, second by Mr. Marshall. Any further discussions? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, for call the roll.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
John Marshall,
Yes.
Dan Rohaley,
Yes.
Dick Sauer,
No.
Nick Nosovich.
Yes. You're all set.
Thank you very much. Good night.
I have nothing under this except adjournment. Any questions?
I do have something, the fitness facility on Madison Street has reached out, they got their inspections, the only one they're still waiting on is a utilities inspection. So at this point, our recommendation is to take a vote to untable it, so that way that we can post notice and have them come to the next board of zoning appeals meeting.
Do they have their state limits?
They don't get that yet until all permits are or until they have to go through any type of permitting process. But so far, it doesn't appear as though they've done anything that would actually trigger that. So everything they've done has been pretty minimal
Will they fall underneath that exemption?
so
or
far.
is they
We'll,
really-
we'll find out for sure after they get their utilities inspection.
Do you have the petition number?
Not offhand, no.
Make a motion to untable the petition regarding the Madison Fitness facility.
Yeah, and I apologize, we haven't done this before, so we weren't certain of exactly what was needed to do it.
Sounds official to me.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Sounds official to me. I'd go with it.
Well, we
But
have
with
a
that being-
motion.
With that being said, well, I'll let you guys second the motion, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Okay,
And a motion for it to be untabled, seconded by Mr. Marshall. Any further discussion?
yes, thank you, sorry about that. So with that being said, they will have to post public notice again, which includes in the newspaper to adjacent property owners as well. And I did also bring up the question of them basically seeking new clientele on Facebook. Petitioner claimed it wasn't him, so that's something that we can also have addressed at the next meeting as well.
What do you
So
do?
it's my understanding that the petition will be variance for parking.
It's a variance of use.
Oh, you,
Yes. That was, I can't remember offhand, I think it was.
oh,
a
he has
special
the
use.
parking dedicated to him already.
Correct.
What do you do on Facebook?
There was a question that was brought up at, I think, the last BZA, where they said, hey, we saw him on Facebook promoting his business, which isn't supposed to be operating right now. And speaking to him, just to try to see what his side of things were. I just simply asked about any Facebook posts, and he said it was not him that did it. He's unaware of any posts.
Well, it's pretty nice of somebody to advertise somebody's business.
You Vote on that one?
Yes.
You need to vote on that motion?
Yeah, we'll vote on it. And all the other further discussions? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, for call the roll.
Jeremy Taylor.
Yes.
John Marshall.
Yes.
Dan Rohaven.
Yes.
Dick Sauerman.
Yes.
Nick Nocivich.
Yes.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.